Hello everybody. In this video we will be going over the trades and holdings for ULTY. As a reminder, I am not a licensed investment or financial advisor. I'm just gathering data and presenting it to you so you can use that information to help make your own decisions, inform your own opinions. Just a reminder that YieldMax ETFs are extremely risky. They are income ETFs and not growth ETFs. Here are a list of all the risks that they define on their website, and if you haven't already, I believe you should take a few minutes and read over those. All right, so we're going to go over these trades. Let's see. All of these are closing out except for the bottom, but it looks like we're zoomed in good. So, something weird going on here. Something I haven't seen before, not even when we swapped and flip-flopped back and forth between stocks and synthetics. I don't know, though. Maybe they are going to go back and do something else next week. Maybe they just decided, you know what, they're just going to get out a lot of these. I don't really know what's happening, but I guess we'll figure it out next week. But you can see here that they've closed out. You can just, even the ones here on the screen, they closed all of these. And the short calls on these, they didn't even expire for 2 weeks. Is that 2 weeks? I said 2 weeks on another one earlier. That's 3 weeks. I guess I didn't pay attention to what the exact date was today. Yeah, this is 3 weeks away. And some of these they just put on this week. So I found it, I'm pretty sure it was this week, Janix. I don't know. Something weird's happening, so we'll find out what's going on next week. But we can see here that they closed out at intracellular therapies. You know, the synthetic, short, same thing with Janix, NanoX Imaging, Root, Transmedics, SMCI, Vertiv Holdings, and Carvana. So they've closed out of all of these. Now, I will say, well, I guess I should have stopped after Transmedics, because everything Transmedics and above, all of those didn't expire for 3 weeks. Now, SMCI, Vertiv, and Carvana, those are ones we had already talked about yesterday, so they had to pay to close out these short calls. Therefore, you know, they also close out the synthetics at the same time. So I guess if I look at it that way, they really only closed out 5 that they didn't necessarily have to close out up there. And then they closed out 3 because they were over, which, you know what, let me look, because I didn't think about that. No, but there they were over the synthetic and under the short, so that was still good. Of course, they made some money off of it, but they were still good. If we look at Janix, though, well, we were actually still over the synthetic and under the short, so that one actually was looking good. NanoX Imaging, same thing. We were over the synthetic and under the short. And Root, we were over, we were over one of the synthetics. We were 8% under the other. And we were over the short call. So, well, at the end of the day, yeah, we were over. So maybe that's why they closed Root out, because one of the synthetics was, you know, we were under 1, and then we were already over the short call. But that's just still unlike them, unless they're doing something new. You know, why didn't they just, you know, if you wanted to close out the short call, do that. Maybe that one synthetic, but keep the other one. I don't know. They probably couldn't have. No, either way, they still lost over $500,000 by doing that. And closing these other ones out didn't help them pay for it. But anyway, all right. And then Transmedics here. We were above the synthetic and below the short. So that one still was looking good. So, I don't know. And then the bottom two, those expired today. But instead of just waiting and then closing, letting them close everything out, they went ahead and paid to close these out. I wonder what the stop price was when they did it. Because, well, they did good on the Vertiv Holdings one. And I say that because the first one is C here. We're 86 cents over. At the end of the day, they paid 95 cents to close that one out. But for for Viking Therapeutics here, the strike price was 71. At the end of the day, the stock price was 74.31, but they only paid 99 cents to close this one out. So they did good on that one because they'd have waited till the end of the day. That's 4.31 there. But I guess they knew they were keeping these instead of just, letting it close out and then making the synthetics close out. I guess they just decided to roll these. So I know because I'm zoomed in, you can't see over here. So I'm going to, we've already basically went through all the data on the left-hand side. So if you want to see, I did add something over here I don't normally do, but I was like, well, I've been doing it for everything else, so why not this? But you can see the price, the number of contracts, the price per share, and then the total trade price. Of course, then this is the summary of this on the left by ticker. And then what I did here was just, each one per share, the outstanding shares. And then this is just summing those up. So like here in Intracellular Therapies, we made 9 cents for each per ULTY share here. And that's what these on the right are. And then you can see at the top, which was also on the top of the daily trades. But overall, in all of these, it still was negative 6 cents for an ULTY share for all of the trades. But what I'm going to do, I'm not going to read them all off. I know some of you may or may not care, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down. Since you've seen all the data and we've talked through the left, you can screenshot or pause the video to see all the numbers if you want to look at each one of these more in depth. And there we go. All right, so now let's just go look at the holdings. Oh, I did forget one thing. So let's go back to yesterday's holdings. So here. And what I should have done, I don't think I can freeze. Well, I guess I can. There we go. So these are all the short calls that we had that were going to expire today. And then I'm just looking because now that I look at this, some of these, well, I think I'd already went through them and put on here the ones that they had paid to close. I just want to make sure. So let me pull up. That is not the right file. Okay, yeah, I just wanted to make sure. I thought I scrubbed these. So yeah, those 5 there that were paid to close, those are the ones that we had went over. 3 that they let just go, and then it, close out with the synthetics at the end of the day. And then there was the 2 that they rolled to next week. And then you can see all the rest of these that expired worthless today. Since it doesn't show up on any of the reports, it's harder to tell. But you can see here, Clean Spark. So the ones that expired worthless were Clean Spark, Coin, In Phase, Lift, MicroStrategy, Sunrun, let's see, is that right? Yeah, Symbotic, Wayfair, and Wolfspeed. So it just means basically, when they did the short calls up front, they received the premium on those, and then they expired worthless, meaning they did not have to pay to close them out. So that's a good thing, right? If we didn't have to pay anything, that's a good thing. So anyway, I just like to point that out. And then we'll move on to the holdings. And then you'll see here we have these two new short calls down here. But other than that, that was all the trades for the things that are actually on here. Sorry. Let's minimize that. There's not much else we can. I just know somebody recently said something about hardly being asking me to zoom in more so they could see. So just trying to see if there's anywhere we can make smaller here. Yep. I don't know. Hopefully this is okay. What I did not go over at the top, so we closed at $14.91 yesterday and $15.18 today, so we are up 27 cents today. And we have 66.2 million in net assets and the same outstanding shares there at 4,375,000. And then we have our treasury there at the top. And then here, let me see. We can do a run through these, but I'm not too worried about these with synthetics unless they're negative or something. But we still have CleanSpark here. It was down 2% today. We have Coin, which was up 6%, which is good because we're getting closer to our strike price, which is $2.40. So now it's only bringing the ULTY stock price down 1 cent. This is because we're only down below at 2% now. So looking good there. In Phase here, we have two synthetic positions here. Of course, we're above one by 7% and below the other one by 3%. But the stock did come up 4% today. But you can see those two synthetics pretty much, they cancel each other out if we're looking by share. Looks like if we actually closed them out, it would cost $18,000 to do so. And then we have our money market. And then we have GigaCloud. So this one we still have a short call on because it doesn't expire for 3 weeks. So we have the strike price of $40. We're under that by 12%. And the stock did end up going down 3% today. Of course, for our synthetic position, we're 18% above that strike price. So it's bringing the stock price up. So overall, GigaCloud is bringing the ULTY stock price up 6 cents. And then if we look at left here, we have the synthetic position still. We are 4% underneath the strike price there, but the stock came up 2% today. So looking a little better, only bringing ULTY down 2 cents a share. Mind Medicine, we have a short call that expires in 3 weeks. Okay, I apologize. I was talking about Mind Medicine. Short call expires in 3 weeks with a strike price of $10. We are currently 15% below the strike price. So that's good. And then for our synthetic, we are above 7% for the one that has the tiniest amount of shares. And the one that has the most amount of shares, almost all of them for the synthetic, we're negative 5%. So I don't know. All we can do is, hope that the stock price will recover some more over the next few weeks. Let's see. We have MicroStrategy. We still have our synthetics here. The stock price did come up 3% today, but we are underneath both of those strikes by 5 and 15%, which is right now bringing the ULTY stock price down by 9 cents a share. Then we have Sunrun Synthetics here, which we're above. We're above the strike price, but that's because the stock price went up 6% today. So looking good there. Then we have C. This is our new short call. It will expire next week with a strike price of $64, and we are currently 2% under that. Then we have our synthetic $50 strike, and we're 26% above that, which is really good. We can see it's bringing the stock price, that synthetic's bringing the stock price up 17 cents a share. Then we have Symbiotic here, synthetics, we're above that one, and that's looking good too. And then we move on to Viking Therapeutics. So we have this new short call here that expires next Friday with a $76 strike price, which we're only under that by 2% because the stock did come up 8% today. We can see we have our two synthetic positions here, so we're 35% above the $55 strike price. And then that $75 strike price, I mean, since the stock came up 8% today, we're almost to that, we're getting close to getting above that strike price, which is a good thing. Now we're only showing negative 1 cent over there for being underneath that by 1%. So it's looking good. Of course, we were red, 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 so now that we're starting to go green, some of these synthetics are starting to look a lot better. But some of them still have a ways to go. Speaking of, we have Wayfair synthetics here. You can see the $50 strike, we're over 4%, but the $60 strike, we are still underneath that by 13 cents, which is bringing the stock price down 7 cents a share. Then we have Wolfspeed, and this one's actually looking pretty good, so nothing really to go in depth about this one. I do think that's odd that we have $40 million just sitting there at the bottom, which I guess it's about what we've had because, I guess it makes sense. Never mind, because they'll need to use this money Monday. Maybe not necessarily all of it, but they'll be using some of that to do positions on Monday. Yeah, we stopped going over the summary because I don't think really people cared so much. Well, you know what? No, because we go over that in the daily. So yeah, I guess that's it for the trades and holdings video. And then if you want to see the IVs and all that kind of stuff and everything, that's all in the daily file. So anyway, I will let y'all go. And I will talk to y'all later. Thanks. Bye.